What is up, everybody? How's it going on this glorious Friday? You're tuning into Five Star Friday. We in here. We in here. We in here. We in here. What is going on, everybody? What is up? I hope you all have enjoyed your week so far. Hopefully, maybe you're off the weekend. I don't know. If not, the grind never stops. But if you do get to enjoy your weekend, you get to start it off right now, with some Five Star Friday action. So we got a special guest today, guy by the name of Tony Cade. He is a comic book shop owner. He is a comic book creator. He's going to be in here with us. He's going to be running just a tad bit late just because his schedule doesn't stop. Sorry about that. I had some weird feedback in the headphones. His schedule doesn't stop, so he's closing down his shop right at 7. So he's going to close down the shop, hop in. But until then, you're just stuck with me. And I'm going to share the screen right now and kind of show off some of his stuff. So let's get this popping on here. I'm going to show this right here. As you can see, this is the Fox Chronicles, okay? So this is his book that is currently on Kickstarter. I'm going to go ahead and post on the Powwam Band page. I'm going to post from here. I'm going to post the Kickstarter link in there. We'll have it in there for you guys by the end of today, for you guys can get in there and support it. They're already funded, so everything else just goes towards everything else is just going to go towards them stretch goals. So he's in here now. We're going to get him in here. Remove this. Bring him on. What's up, homie?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going, bro. I know I was just telling him that you're a busy guy. You're running.
Oh, yeah. Literally just closed the shop like 1 minute ago.
So just closed the shop. Tony Cade is in the building, everyone. Ready to talk about this comic book. Ready to talk about the ins and outs of maybe owning a comic book shop. Maybe drop some knowledge for us today. Tony Cade, man, go ahead and tell him just a little bit about yourself, buddy.
Well, my name's Tony Cade. I've been involved in the local fandom pretty much here in the Atlanta area since the mid-'80s. I first got introduced to large conventions and the whole media circus back when I volunteered to be a staff photographer for the Atlanta Fantasy Fair, and went on to become a photographer for Dragon Con, which you guys know is like one of the largest conventions here in the city. Of course, people want to call after hours.
That's all right. That's all right. Businessman never stops for a guy like you, man. So for one, let me just say congratulations on you guys' current Kickstarter for the Fox Chronicles. You guys have reached your goal, and you still have 12 days left. So that to me is just awesome. Congratulations on that, man.
Oh man, I'm really happy about it. I'm glad. The stress has been kind of like alleviated from it, because I've been involved with other Kickstarters.
Mm-hmm.
I assisted with the Kickstarter for the trade paperback for Route 3, but from Robert Jeffrey, and also the Gilded Age that was done by John McGuire. So I kind of like assisted with those, but this is the first one where I was actually like in charge of like the whole Kickstarter. So it was kind of nervous and nerve wracking for me. Plus I had to run the shop while trying to do the Kickstarter. So, it was very nerve-wracking.
I can imagine. Even for myself, I've ran 3 Kickstarters, had 3 successful Kickstarters, and I know that is a very stressful time when you're just hoping, because you got the project in mind and you want to get it in people's hands, and it is a stressful time. But like you said, that part is over. Now it's just fun. Well, not necessarily fun. There's still work that's got to be done, but the fun part is just unlocking them stretch goals. And hopefully, if you're watching this, like I said, we'll put the Kickstarter link down in the comments. and you guys can go and check out that Kickstarter for the Fox Chronicles. So now that we're on the topic of the Fox Chronicles, why don't you tell us a little bit about the book? I know I got a little bit from the campaign page. I know it's, galactic battles and all that fun space stuff, but it also, ties in with some social issues. I think I heard on another interview that it has to deal with maybe some trafficking.
Oh yeah, human trafficking is one of the things that we're going to be tackling.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and just tell the people who's watching about the Fox Chronicles?
Okay, all right. Well, basically, I was approached by a couple of artists that I worked with before about working on a character that I created. And they were basically like a week apart when they approached me about it. And at the time, I wasn't really sure that I wanted to go and produce any more comics. I'd already started doing the Atlanta Fantasy Fair convention and, was, working on other, projects. But I thought that, hey, if two guys are going to be hitting me up, on different parts of the world saying they want to do a story for me, I probably shouldn't pass up on it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and stuff. And we're going to re-envision everything. And what we're going to do is make sure we start telling stories with actual purpose. We're going to give people their fight scenes, their galactic space battles. We're going to give them a little mystery. We're going to give them a little intrigue. But we're also going to, maybe deal with like some social commentary. Because to me, when you talk about stories, I always feel that you should get something out of them. Like when you read, fables, the fables are there to tell you a story and entertain you, but you're supposed to get something out of it. When you read like most of the stories that are in the different, religious, books, they're there so you can learn and take something from the stories.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I really wanted to do. And when we, Robert Jeffrey, were working on a project that we were doing for the Center for Disease Control, we actually did an animated drama dealing with HIV and AIDS awareness. And that exposed us to like the Sabito method and really got us thinking about the whole thing about, edutainment, where you entertain, but you also give, education. And we actually, we were put in front of focus groups with our story and our animation when they were completed. And we actually had like bullet points that had to be met by the CDC that wanted us to talk about as far as HIV and AIDS awareness. And everything and the bullet points was in our story. We literally had people at the end of it saying, I thought you guys were going to talk to us about HIV and AIDS awareness, not knowing that in this cliffhanger story that we had given them, and they were highly upset that we put it on a cliffhanger. But hey, we're comic book guys. We got to do the cliffhanger thing.
Yeah,
all right. So got to. We dropped the story on the cliffhanger, and a lot of them absorbed the knowledge and didn't realize that they were being spoken to. Because when you're dealing with like, teenagers and, early adolescents, they don't want to be preached to.
Right. Yeah.
And so we were able to basically transfer knowledge to them without them even realizing we had done it. And that's one of the things that we wanted to try to continue to do with the stories that we tell. We want to put knowledge out there, but also entertain you. So we don't want to be preachy, Yeah. And so that's basically where we're going with the Fox Chronicles. And while we were working with the CDC, we found out that just diseases are not the only kind of epidemics that the CDC is dealing with. Mm-hmm. And, we were like, well, what other kind of stuff are you guys are doing? And then that's when they started talking to us about the child trafficking epidemic.
Yeah.
And that was something that was like really strong here in the United States and over in Asia. And the town that we live in here is Atlanta. And Atlanta is known for like being a hub. And it's always been a hub. The name of it used to be Terminus. And basically, this is where all the train tracks would meet. And that's why we have like all these multiple interstates and a big round interstate that connects everything. So basically, this city is a hub. Unfortunately, it's a hub for everything good, and it's a hub for everything bad.
Right.
So we felt that this is a story that we definitely wanted to tackle. And we thought that we'd be able to do it through the animation projects that we were able to do with the CDC. But since government changed and we weren't able to keep going forward with that project, this is something that we decided that we were going to take on our own and go forward with it.
Nice, man. So it's always dope when you can take comics and make them more than just stories, and really try to impact people's lives with the story you're telling. And it sounds like that's the direction you guys are going with the Fox Chronicles. I mean, the art, by the way, is just super dope. So I know you're working with a big team, and you guys are all playing roles. We couldn't get them all on the show today. So you want to give them shout outs and kind of just explain what everybody's doing, who you got on the arts and who you got on the writing team?
Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and start off with, I guess, my partner in crime. Uh, oh my goodness, Robert Jeffrey. I always can't remember stuff where he's the second or third. I think he's the second, but Robert Jeffrey, he is the writer on this project. I've been working with him on multiple projects when we used to work together with Terminus Media, and he's gone on to be a part of the DC Writers Workshop. He graduated from that, got to do some work for DC, and he basically built a really good reputation for doing indie projects, all over the place for different studios.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so I definitely, when I told him that I plan on like re-envisioning the character and we had worked together with the character before, he definitely wanted to come on and work on it. And like I said, we basically came up with like this first issue is like a full 30 pages of actual story.
Man.
Just to get launched off. And then we've also got Fritz, because he's our illustrator. I'd worked with him back when I hired him to work with us on the Nitto Tires project for that corporation, where we did the history of the company. And he was actually one of the artists that approached me about doing something with the character. And he said he wanted to do something. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and make that happen. And after we agreed to stuff that he was going to be the artist on the project, he wanted to bring in Candace Hahn, who I literally wanted to work with like years ago. But, even before she started working for Marvel, DC, and Dark Horse and all these other companies,
right.
You could see, how great her talent was. And she was actually too busy for me to book, even back then. But because she had been doing some covers with Fritz for a Blaze, and I also think Valiant, she agreed to come on and color the project.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, now I know I've got an art team and a writing team that can hang with anybody coming from any company.
Right. Yeah.
But even at that point, it was like, okay, I'm one of those people, just being a business guy, it's business is pretty much gambling.
Right.
And I like to try to make it so that I stack the deck as much as I can. All right. So also here at the shop, I had a young lady working for me, Leo Patrice Ware. And I could tell just from our conversations that this was a woman who had like a lot of imagination and also had, some pretty good writing chops. And so we brought her on board to be co-writer on the project.
Nice.
Because I wanted to make sure that we kept the field, or we kept a story or the character reacting in such a way that a young woman actually would react. So she came on board and stuff to work on the project. And then at that point, once we decided that the project was going to happen, I just kind of like put the word out to a lot of my artist friends that we were going to be doing this project. And they were like, ooh, I want to do a cover, you know. So then, Marcus Williams, came on board to do one of our variant covers. Like I said, Fritz, did a wraparound cover that's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive. The Kickstarter exclusive cover is only going to be doing for the Kickstarter campaign. It will not be used again. We brought in Sheldon Mitchell, who did a lot of work on Naomi, and also used to do some illustrations for Top Cow. He came in to do illustrations. And then another young lady that I work with, Laveda O'Neill, she did some artwork and some covers with us. She did like our animation cover. And, she was trying out a new art style, and it just fit perfect for the cover for us.
I'm just showing off some of the art that you had sent me. You can kind of talk about it if you want to. This is the first one here that you had sent me. This is looks like a page from the actual book.
Well, actually, that's just a couple panels. That's not even the whole page.
And then we got this panel here where we get to see some of that action going on.
You know, not to spoil it, but that's just a small segment of a
Right.
2-page spread.
Nice. Yeah. I already love just the action that's happening here. It's just I can already tell this is something that I want to read. And then you got these beautiful this beautiful page here.
Oh yeah,
Very
actually, I think that's the first page of the book.
nice.
So
Nice.
you can
Nice.
see, you know, what Candace colors do with Fritz's artwork.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful page. And then we got this page here. I'm guessing probably the second. Is this the second page of the book?
That's the second page.
And then we got. I mean, this right here.
And that's an actual panel from the book.
Nice.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, what cover is this?" Like, oh, that's not a cover. That's
Yeah.
what our interior art looks like.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You guys got a nice project. And is this the regular cover here?
No, that's a Sheldon Mitchell cover. That's going to
Okay.
be our full cover.
Nice. Beautiful cover. Love the colors on that. This one here is
And that's our Marcus
probably
Wilson
my
cover.
favorite. I love Marcus's work. He just he's on another level. I love this cover here. Then we got this one here.
Yeah, that's the one. That's our animation cover of Balaveda.
It's beautiful. The colors are just really pop.
Oh yeah.
And then this one here is probably my second favorite. I just love all the blue, all the colors in there.
And that's a wraparound cover.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean you're offering a lot. Let me get myself back here on the screen. You're offering a lot in the Kickstarter. You guys got some nice rewards here. So like I'm saying, if you're watching this or you watch it later, make sure that you get on there and check out that Kickstarter. You got some awesome stretch goals you want to talk about, or
well, right now, like I said, we met our goal of 8,000.
Okay.
All right, and as soon as we hit the 8,000, we actually released a print by Michael Watson.
Oh, okay.
Did for us when we were on his Chat and Draw show.
Yeah.
So everybody and stuff that pledges is going to get a digital Michael Watson print. And then as soon as we hit 9,000, there's 2 more prints that we're going to be releasing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hit 10,000, we're actually going to put a backup story in the book. So we're going to give you even more pages and more action.
Nice.
If we can get up to 10,000 as a stretch goal. So we've already got a 30-page book.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get you even a bigger book.
Nice. I mean, you guys are killing it. You got a lineup like that. I mean, you got an all-star team on this project. The art pops, the character pops. You see the character, you automatically, for me anyway, I see the character. I already want to know more about the story. And then you show me these dope covers, and I'm like, okay, yes, I definitely need to get on this action. I plan on backing the Kickstarter right after this. So not only did this is your brainchild. You brought this all-star team together, like you were saying earlier, and you can tell in the background, you run a comic book shop, which is a full-time job. What's that like? How long have you had your own comic book shop?
I've been doing the whole comic book thing since 1994, back when I was young and skinny. Neither one of those things now.
Okay. It looks like an awesome shop. It looks like somewhere I would love to visit.
Oh yeah, this is just like half of our gaming section behind me.
Nice.
We got like 3,500 square feet.
Man, that's an
actually
awesome
outgrown
shop.
it. I actually need to see about getting a larger spot.
Wow. And now I think I heard in the Kickstarter video, this was on a show, or there's a story behind this. It was featured.
Okay. If for those of you who watch Cobra Kai, the comic book shop that was in season 2, episode 5 of Cobra Kai, where the big fight scene starts before it fills out into the food court in the mall.
Yeah.
The fight starts right here in the comic shop.
Nice, bro. That's awesome. I love that show for one.
And the strange thing about it and stuff is that a lot of the guys and stuff that are on the show really do like comics and games. Sweet. And we actually taught a few of them how to play Magic the Gathering. Nice. And they still come and get their Magic the Gathering cards here at the shop.
Nice. That's dope. So with 2020
challenges, you might actually run into Miguel from
there you go.
From the Cobra Kai. Who knows?
That would be dope. So with 2020 last year, what were some of the challenges that you faced with having a comic book shop?
Well, the main thing is that part of what we do comics and games,
Yeah.
and so we have a lot of gaming space. We run a lot of tournaments. We have board game nights.
Mm,
Basically, with the pandemic, we had to like shut down
yeah.
for a minimum of 2 weeks. During that time period, uh, we were able to basically set up a new website, which unfortunately and stuff is having technical problems right now and it's down. But
Yeah.
we basically inventoried everything in the store,
Hmm.
put it up on the website, and we started doing delivery and curbside service.
Nice. So
And
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it just happened to be that, fortunately for us, when people have a bunch of extra time, they
Yeah.
can work on their D&D minis, they can work on their Gunpla models, they
Yeah.
can work on their Warhammer, armies, and
Nice.
paint up all their figures. And we were basically set up to provide, those needs.
Nice. So, I mean, downside, you're down for 2 weeks, or was you long? Was it longer? Was it just 2 weeks for you, or was it longer?
Yeah, in this state, we only had to shut down for like 2 weeks.
Okay, so
We,
you're
we
down.
shut down for 2 weeks and
Okay.
used that time to create and inventory a brand new website.
Yeah. So, I mean, you took advantage of the time pretty much. I mean, you had to shut down, but you didn't let it stop you. And that's a big thing I think the viewers can take away. No matter what's going on, there's always a way that you can elevate your game and work on another portion that maybe you haven't been able to get to while you were open. So, in that website, even though it's down right now, will provide you with other outlets later. I mean,
Oh
now
yeah,
you'll be able to have that, right? You'll be
oh
able to
yeah.
have that, and you'll be able to use that. You'll be able to not only have the store, but you'll have so maybe people who are not in town can come, can still shop online, and so a lot of people something like that can take him out the game, but you chose to kick it up a notch and say, I'm going to utilize this time and create this website and give myself another outlet. So that's just dope, man. It's dope that you took the time to do that. And then is that where the comic book came into play during that time? You were like, okay,
Well, actually, the comic was already even though a lot of people were able to produce like more comic books,
yeah,
during the beginning of the pandemic,
yeah,
because of the fact that we were also doing like uh, a convention, and that had to be shut down. The
hmm,
second weekend of March, back when everything went bad, and I
yeah,
also had to like make adjustments and changes here at the store. It actually slowed us down on production of a comic book.
yeah. Okay, okay.
So I originally wanted the comic book to come out last year, but because
Oh,
we
okay,
had to
okay.
deal with the pandemic, and I had to make sure that this place survived. You
Right, right,
know,
right, right, right.
the comic project kind of like took a back seat
Yeah.
until earlier this year when we got it back in the kicked back in the full force.
Right. It's definitely all about prioritizing and making sure, especially when you're wearing like a man like you're wearing so many different hats, and you got to pick which one. And that's the big thing. A lot of people don't get that. They think that people, somebody like you're superhuman and you're just doing it all at once and you're cranking it out. There's times where you gotta, maybe step back on one to get the other one where it needs to be, and then so it's all about having that balance. There's a few questions that I like to ask people when they're on the show. Um, one, uh, are you a writer? I couldn't remember if you said if you were a writer. Are you a writer or do you write comics?
Okay, uh, when we first started this whole thing, and so when I first started dealing with like Terminus Media,
Yeah.
uh, I was writing stories.
Okay.
I
Okay.
plotted the story that we're doing right now with the Fox Chronicles. All
Okay.
right. But because I'm working with somebody like Robert Jeffrey,
Yeah.
who was a much more prolific writer than I am,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things and stuff that I realized that my strengths are in business
Yeah.
and making sure stuff actually gets done.
Nice. Okay.
So that's where I put most of my energy into is handling the business and the marketing and the organization.
Nice.
You know,
It's all
so
and Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's one of the things and stuff is like I choose to kind of like step back from
Mm-hmm.
doing the heavy lifting of the writing,
Yeah.
so that I can make sure that everything else gets done.
That's a key success in anything. Having that support. I know for me, like teaming up when I decided to team up with Short Fuse and go under that Short Fuse umbrella. That's what I got with with Sean Mack and Mike Watson, able to have that for myself, or I can focus more on the creativity. So that's nice that you knew, like, yo, I got to step into this role. But since you have wrote and you still plot out the stories, this question will work for you too. If you could pick a book out of the main two, a character out of the main two that you could write for, who would it be?
Oh, that's easy for me. I've always been a humongous Fantastic Four fan.
Nice.
Because I'm at such a seasoned age
Yeah.
that I remember the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons with the Fantastic Four. So
Nice.
when I went to the convenience store as a kid to pick up comics for just a quarter, uh, I gravitated to the Fantastic Four, and so
Nice.
to this day they've always been my favorite team. And to me, they were always a team that most people slept on,
Yeah.
and
Still
but
do.
yeah, still do. And the thing about it is and stuff that I'm like, okay, they weren't really a superhero team per se. They were like a family of explorers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always thought it'd be like really cool. It's like, all right, what if somebody did like a what if story where
Mm-hmm.
like the Fantastic Four was an actual assault team?
Ooh.
Where it's like, what
Yeah.
if, you know, somebody, actually, communicate with Reed Richards and it was like, okay, we need you to take out this team or that hero
Ooh.
using the members
Yeah.
of the Fantastic Four.
Man,
Think about how
yeah.
devastating. I mean, the Avengers are sitting there in the Avengers Mansion having a meeting.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, right in the middle of the meeting, the Fantastic Four pops up
Yeah.
and just starts going hog wild on them.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that
know,
would be that's a dope that's a dope concept. I could even
yeah.
maybe
If there's any
like a,
editors out there at Marvel that are listening, I'm putting
yeah,
that out there. That's
right.
my idea.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
I
say.
think that'd be a perfect story.
Yeah.
It would show the Fantastic Four in a completely different light
Yeah.
because the team is a lot more powerful than they show the team to be.
Yeah.
Especially
They're
like the
slept on for
Invisible
sure.
Woman,
Yeah.
and you think about the brilliance of Reed
Yeah.
and the fact that they don't even let the Human Torch use his Nova Blast abilities anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And then you've got the Thing who has fought his way through the Avengers many times
Hmm.
using fighting skills in judo, where he's nowhere near the strongest person
Right.
out there, but he's got,
The skill to
except
match.
for like maybe Thor and Captain America, has got like more fighting experience than
Right.
anybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Man.
would be my dream assignment right there.
I want to see that. Like I would want to read that. That sounds like I'm hoping Marvel maybe somebody needs to hear this so we can get that out
Mm-hmm.
because that's a sick idea. Maybe in an alternate universe or whatever they had to do. Um, I enjoy the Fantastic Four also, and it's kind of sad to see that they've kind of been pushed aside because they had a few bad movies or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's a dope concept. My next question for you is if you could have one superpower, what would you have?
Ooh, one superpower.
One.
One superpower. I could be cheesy and say the power cosmic, but now
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there. I think I want Magneto's abilities.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Control magnetism, but he also controls like other forms of energy also.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
basically, as far as like your Omega level mutants concerned,
Yeah.
nobody's better than Magneto.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able to have his abilities would be great.
You could do a lot of good with that. I mean, there's so
Or a
much
lot of bad.
good or a lot of bad. That's true. You can do. So that's a good one. I haven't
Especially,
had.
I still remember as a kid reading a book where the Phoenix, Jean Grey flared on him with the Phoenix Force powers.
Yeah.
And he basically just kind of like just tapped into the Earth's magnetic field and just shut her down.
Yeah. Yeah. Magneto's next
Like,
level.
all right, that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the first person to say both your answers were a first for the show. So
I like trying to be creative and original.
I dig it. I dig it. So you've been in the comic book world. for a long time. I mean, how has it evolved over the years for you? How has it evolved over the years, and where do you see it going? Where do you see the comic book world going from here?
That's really a tough one.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I started reading comic books back when they were 25 cents.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those poor kids, didn't have an allowance, but I knew that, if I cashed in a pop bottle, I got 10 cents.
Right.
So if I could find 3 pop bottles, I could trade those pop bottles in for a comic book.
Okay.
Trust me, my neighborhood was cleaned up from pop
Yeah.
bottles. I go around, hey, can I dump out people's trash? So I get the pop bottles,
Man.
So that's how I started off, with my comics. So they've definitely been, a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I still remember stuff, being in high school, and I'd be sitting there reading a comic book, and of course, most of the time it's probably a Fantastic Four or an X-Men, and the football player walk up, oh, look at the little baby reading the comic books, and me just being the jerk that I am, I'll be like, yeah, what's that word? And then of course everybody would be oohing and on.
Yeah.
But I remember when I got to be a teenager. When you get to be a teenager and stuff, you start looking over and stuff, and you're like, hey, she looks pretty nice in that dress, and you start having those different thoughts.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my dad, and I was like, hey, Dad, I think I'm gonna sell my comic books so that I can get me a car.
Yeah. Okay.
And to this day, I still remember my dad looked at me, and he kind of like cocked his head to the side, and he literally said, boy, if you sell those comic books, I'm gonna beat your ass. Okay. To this day, women have come and gone, cars have come and gone.
Yeah.
But the comics are still there.
Still there. That's dope.
And they help take care of me.
Yeah. So, how old were you when you opened up your comic book shop?
I don't remember. But it was back in like 94. So was I
okay.
I don't even remember.
So 94. That's cool. 94.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I'm still in my 20s. Yeah. So back in 94.
So you knew right out of high school that's what you wanted to do?
Actually, no. Strangely enough, I was editor of my high school newspaper.
Okay.
And I went to I was supposed to go off to the University of Wisconsin, but being controlled by hormones at the time, I wanted to go to school with my ex-wife, who was attending a junior college, and so I actually wound up being editor of the junior college paper too. So I was actually under the assumption that I was going to be a journalist.
Oh, okay.
But then I actually got exposed to photography, and then went and got exposed to video production. And so my plans completely jumbled.
Yeah.
And I wound up doing like none of those things. I was actually a wedding photographer for quite a while. And that's when a friend of mine, Tim Cummings, came to me, and he was like, hey, Tony, I want to open up a comic shop, but I've already sold my back issues. Will you come in with me and stuff, and we use your back issues for the shop's collection? Okay. And so I was like, okay, we can do that. And so we actually found a spot, and it was actually we sub-rented from, strangely enough, my hairstylist.
Okay.
She rented a whole building, and we took the bottom part and we started up what we call Midtown Studios. Okay. Where we actually had the comic book shop, we had my photography studio, and Don Hilsman, who's an OG, illustrator and inker. Yeah. Who's worked for Boom Studios, Marvel, DC, all those guys. Yeah. He opened up an art studio. Nice. And so we had all 3 businesses in one location. Nice. So that's how I literally got into the comic book business. Nice. All right. And then about right before the 96 Olympics hit Atlanta, because we had to move from that spot that we were in, because my hairdresser wasn't paying her rent. So, and so I got us all kicked out. All right. So we moved to another location, and toward our lease ending on that one, it was right around the Olympics, and so they started jacking up all the rent around town.
Ah,
And so uh, my partner at the time and stuff decided that it was time to kind of like, just shutter the business
mhm.
and just shut it down. And so I took everything and I put it in storage. And after paying for storage for about 3 months for all that stuff, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And
Yeah,
then I reopened everything else back up by myself.
nice, nice. And now it's what you do for a living, and you've had
Yeah,
a
it's what I do for a living. So this
super.
was not in the game plan
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's
But
that's
it just so happens that, playing games and reading comics is what I loved, as a
yeah,
kid. And now I actually get to do those things for a living.
nice. Yeah. Just to hear that story is it's inspirational for one. I mean, just to tap in on your age a little. I was 4 years old in '94, so just to hear your journey and where you're at now, and you're about to drop this dope book with the Fox Chronicles. It's very inspiring for for me, man. So I appreciate having you on the show, man. I'm glad we got to chop it up a little bit. I hope, like I said, some of the people can get on and support your Kickstarter and take it to the next level to get some more of them stretch goals unlocked for you guys. Anything that you want to, say to the people before you go or before we end the video?
I guess, the only thing about it is like, hey, I'm a retailer. I've got my built-in focus group
Yeah,
that basically tells me, it's like, okay, this is what people like in comics. This is what people dislike in comics.
yeah,
I put together a great art team. I've got a really good writing team together. I think
hmm,
the Fox Chronicles is something you guys are really going to enjoy.
I agree.
Just go ahead and, give our this first issue a try. We're going to be continuing with the storyline. I'm literally using Kickstarter to kickstart, this process.
Yeah,
We plan on producing a lot more content for you guys, and I think you're really going to like it. And hopefully, for you people and stuff that are impatient, we're giving you enough cool stuff in the first issue,
yeah.
so you can keep going. Because I hear all the time people say,
Gotta
"Oh
reel them
man,
in.
that first issue didn't really grab me. I don't know if I'm gonna keep
Hmm.
going with it." I keep thinking about when Marvel did like the original Ultimate storyline,
Yeah,
and they use like the first 5 issues to like kind of like introduce you to these different versions of the Avengers, and
yeah,
people were like dropping the book, and
yeah,
then about time issue 5 hit, everybody was like clamoring and talking about how great the book was. So
yeah.
we're not going to make you wait
There
five
you go.
issues, to be able to get into it. But it's one of those things. Is like, hey, be patient with stories.
Yeah.
Wait for them to develop. You know,
Hmm.
somebody shouldn't have to shock jock you with the very first issue. Even though I did give you like space ninjas fighting and epic space battles, but
Yeah. Well,
that's my gift to you.
yeah, we're spoiled in the world now. You know what I mean? We want that instant gratification, and there's just so many projects that are out there, so many different books that are out there, so many different shows that are out there. You got to grab that attention right off the bat. And I think with just the covers alone, you guys are doing that. So I don't think you'll have. I mean, obviously, you have no problem, hitting your goal. So I don't think you guys have that issue anyway. The art's clean. You can tell that you got a good team on it, and you're able to promote right there in the comic shop. So that's a plus. Like I said, Tony, man, we appreciate you coming on here, sharing your story, sharing your Kickstarter, and we look forward to seeing what you guys come out with next.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
No problem, man. Have a good night, buddy. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good Easter, okay?
All right, you guys have a good one.
See ya. All right, everybody. There you go. That was Tony Cade doing his thing, dropping some knowledge on us, the ins and outs of the comic book world since he's been a part of it, and the dropping the knowledge for the Fox Chronicles. Dope, dope art for that. The story looks super good. Like I said, I'm hopping on and I'm going to support the Kickstarter. You guys should do the same. Thanks for tuning in, And like I said, have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your Easter. And we will catch you guys next Friday. All right? Peace out.